this one. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. This is Deuce McAllister, former Ole Miss great running back. And Deuce, you've been in the SEC. You know the grind of it. 8 straight SEC games coming up for Ole Miss after this one. How big a deal is this game to get them right for that stretch?
Well, this is your final tune-up, and so you won't have another opportunity once SEC play starts. And so for this team, any mistakes, any hiccups, you want to get it out the way now.
All right, we mentioned fun because this should be a lot of fun. Two teams that average about 43 points a game, about 500 yards of offense. This should be some fireworks inside this stadium.
Yeah, definitely some fireworks via this game. You know, you're going to see a lot of running. You're going to see the ball being tossed around by Tulsa, so it's going to be an exciting one, and we're looking forward to it.
All right, well, Tulsa won the toss. They defer. Ole Miss receives the football to start this one. Lane Kiffin feeling pretty good about his offense right now. As we mentioned, they are averaging 43 points a game, but they were doing it through the run as opposed to the pass of a year ago. But last week against Georgia Tech, just a total domination of the Yellow Jackets on the road. That was one of the hurdles Coach Kiffin was talking about. Let's see how we can travel with our club. Well, I guess they passed that with flying colors. Tulsa 2-1 on the year. And they have been playing some really good football as well. We'll see if their defense can hold up against this Ole Miss offense today. Jackson Dart gets the start today. Of course, we talked about his story, transferring in from Southern Cal. This is only his 6th start of his young career. Started 3 times at Southern Cal last year. Played in 6 games. Of course, this is just his 3rd start as an Ole Miss Rebel, something Lane Kiffin has talked about. Like, sometimes you just got to remind yourself, this guy is not the veteran that transferred in, a 4th or 5th year player. He is still learning the ropes, but so far, so good. So on 1st down and 10 from the 25. Dart will keep it himself, and he will have a big collision out over the 35, and that'll be good enough for a Rebel 1st down and right into L.J. Wallace on the back end, a gain of 12.5 for the Rebs.
When you see the quarterback being able to take this football and he makes the right read and it's a 1st down, just worry about the quarterback hits.
Here goes Dart again. He's got a lot of room to the 30. Knocked out of bounds inside the 25. We've talked so much about Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans running the football, but how about Jackson Dart? Came in with 85 yards on the ground.
David, the first was a read. This one is a design run, and, you know, like I said, the only thing I don't like is right there at the end, you don't want your quarterback taking those kind of shots.
And off right side, this one goes to Zach Evans. Zach averaging 105 yards a game on the ground, 317 yards rushing this season. 2nd down coming up now for the Rebs, who are going tempo, tempo, tempo. Dart's first pass complete on the far side. That one is caught by Mingo, and he'll have a 1st down. Tyree Carlisle out there in coverage. That's a gain of 6. Dart to throw again, swings it to the outside. Here's Michael Trigg. He's tripped up around the 21-yard line. And Darren Ray making the play for the Golden Hurricane, and it'll be 2nd down. Handoff right side. Evans to the corner, collision, did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Ole Miss, 20-yard run by Zach Evans.
If you take another look, you see how he lowers his shoulder pads and he finishes that run. And, you know, literally they're caught in man-to-man as far as on the outside. And so the receiver, it's almost, he's running his guy off, and the cornerback never saw it. And so Zach had clear lane to be able to go and score that touchdown.
Well, that didn't take very long at all. How about a minute 39 off the clock as Jonathan Cruz will attempt this point after out of the hold of Kincaid Dent, and that one is through the uprights. Well, if you wanted a quick start, Deuce, you got one there.
Definitely got a quick start.
His 4th rushing touchdown of the year, averaging 6.5 yards a carry coming into this game. And scampered 20 for that touchdown to give Ole Miss the early 7-0 lead. Boy, that did not take long at all. 6 plays, 75 yards, a minute 39 off the clock. Their tempo was perfect, really. They picked up that first down, and then off they went.
On the explosive plays as well, from the quarterback run to even Zach Evans, that run. I mean, that was the one thing that Tulsa felt like that they could not happen in the very first drive. It does.
Shoulders back to return this kick, couple of yards deep. Get it to the 12, 13, tripped up there, falls forward to the 15-yard line. Marilyn Payne's down on the sidelines today. I know she's a little warm, but certainly glad to have her on board. Hey, Marilyn.
Jackson Dart just showed us what Lane Kiffin saw last week that put him in the position to start today. Confidence and a good running ability. Kiffin said he's not surprised by his own run game, but the quarterback showed him his ability on the ground, and that confidence has him in the position he's in. Kiffin also defended his quarterback by saying he's growing as a leader. It's hard to do that when you're not the starting guy.
Yeah, obviously with each snap, with each start, the confidence builds not just for him, but the team around him. So the Golden Hurricane with an offense that's putting up 43 points a game. Start their drive backed up inside the 15. They go with Jordan Ford. There is Davis Brin, who has had a great start to this 2022 season, the fifth-year senior. 64% completion rate this year. He's averaging 402 yards a game. He's also thrown 11 touchdown passes. Those are all NCAA leading type numbers. This offense, all told for Tulsa, puts up 523 yards of offense. I mean, you want to talk about a team that's going to sling it around a little bit. This is the team.
And they do a good job of being able to distribute the football to a lot of different playmakers, and I think that's really on Brin, just because his understanding of this offense as well.
First down and 10. They'll stay on the ground. They'll go with Jordan Ford off the right side. He'll get a couple of yards before he's hit there by Central Michigan transfer Troy Brown. Boy, great talking with him yesterday. You can just tell he is a man on a mission, wrapping up his collegiate football career here at Ole Miss, and he knows a lot of eyes on him right now.
Yeah, he's got a chance to play at that next level, and I think, you know, just his leadership qualities, being able to almost been there, done that in a sense as far as from that position, brings a lot to this Ole Miss defense.
This will certainly be the biggest test to this point for this Ole Miss defensive group, which has been so good. Giving up just 4.3 points a game. And handoff to Ford, hit by Tysheem Johnson, comes up to the line of scrimmage for another hit. Tysheem with now 20 tackles on the year.
David, what's interesting, you know, obviously you talk about the tempo and the pace, but for the first 2 plays of this drive, Ole Miss didn't even have a middle linebacker. I mean, they had 4 down linemen, but really everybody else was in the secondary. And so the first 2 plays, no linebacker. Then they switched kind of to their 4 down look and move, you know, ground in at that Mike linebacker. But interesting coverage so far.
Third down coming up. Tulsa converting at 49% this year. Timeout called on the far side by Tulsa head coach Philip Montgomery. There is Coach Montgomery. Great conversation with him. He's got things heading the right direction at Tulsa, that's for sure.
Tulsa took a timeout prior to the game clock running out. First charge time of the half.
Coach Montgomery now in his 8th year here at Tulsa. Went 7-5 last year, finished 5-3 in the AAC. Timeout on the field, 7-0 Rebels. Golden Hurricane facing a third down coming up, but don't forget our stellar SEC football lineup rolls on tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, with LSU hosting New Mexico on SEC Network Plus. And then number 2 Alabama will host Vanderbilt right here on this very network. Both are available on the ESPN app as well. But here we're in Oxford on a warm afternoon, and Tulsa's first possession, looking at a third down. Coach Philip Montgomery calling a timeout. Play clock was winding down to 0, got the timeout, so no penalty, and an opportunity here for this Golden Hurricane to keep the drive alive. Remember, Ole Miss scored in 1 minute and 39 seconds on their opening possession. In motion comes Keelan Stokes. He'll go that direction. He makes the catch, and that'll be good enough for the first down. That is a heady play by the graduate who has had some kind of career. Matter of fact, 3 straight 100-yard gains for Stokes this year.
Well, you just see the smartness of Stokes just finding that soft spot as far as in that defense, picking up just enough yards so they can move the sticks to be able to have that first down and continue to drive.
First down and 10. Handoff goes to Ford, right side. Finds a little seam out over the 45 to the 46-yard line. Nice little 8-yard run. Darius Tennyson will get credit for that tackle. Jordan Ford out of Atlanta, Georgia. They're going tempo on 2nd and short. Go with Ford again. And he'll be cut down shy of the line to gain.
One of the things that you see with that light box that Ole Miss has is you see kind of Tulsa being committed to running the football and forcing Ole Miss to bring more people into that box. Ole Miss more worried about the passing game and, conceding some of those run lanes. And so far, Tulsa has had some success running the football.
Higby Nosen, the freshman, the true freshman, with a nice play there, teaming up with Troy Brown to force this 3rd down and a couple. Inside handoff, and they go with Steven Anderson, the big back. He's been their workhorse, but early in this one, Jordan Ford getting a lot of the run. They're going to spot him just shy. Looks like it's going to be 4th down and... Well, they're going to give him the first down. They are now moving the chains. You can see it on the far side. That'll change the play call in a hurry. Here's Bren, steps up in the pocket. Throws a seed to the near side. J.C. Santana with that catch. He's coming off a 3-catch, 137-yard performance last week.
You only have 3 guys rushing, and J.C.'s able to find the soft spot in that zone again, just like Stokes did earlier, to pick up another first down for Tulsa.
The Hurricane have converted a couple of 3rd down opportunities on this drive. That one's batted in the air and knocked to the turf. Tysheen Johnson got his hand up in the air.
You see Ole Miss kind of dial up some pressures. Tysheen Johnson coming off the edge, able to kind of bat that ball up in the air. And those Tulsa linemen, they're flirting with it. If anything, just knock it down, and live to see the next play.
Already a 10-play drive for Tulsa. Anderson stays in the game at running back. Shifts to the right side of Bren. 3-man rush by the Rebels. They'll bring some late pressure. Bren going up top toward the end zone. Has a man caught. They're going to spot him inside the 1. It goes to Stokes. It'll be 1st and goal for the Golden Hurricane after the 37-yard pickup.
What a nice throw by Bren, and they're going to go tempo. And Miles Battle, who just came into the game, as far as the corner is concerned, I don't think he ever located the football, and Stokes was able to get his hands on it, and he's right there short of a touchdown.
I'm surprised they're not taking one more look at that, where that ball was when his backside hit the turf, but they're going to run it with Bren. He takes it himself. No review needed. And Davis Bren gets it in the end zone for the Golden Hurricane. And just like that, we are a point after away from tying this up. But there is a flag down on the near side. Hold on 1 second.
It's going to be on Ole Miss. Ole Miss was running a guy onto the field, and he probably was offside. Asheem Young is who they're probably, it's either 12 men or on the field or offsides by Ole Miss.
There were 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Offside, defense, that penalty is declined. Illegal substitution, 12 players in the formation against the defense. That penalty is also declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Well, just the 2nd touchdown allowed by this Ole Miss defense on the year.
We knew coming into it they would be tested, and so far they have been, on at least on that first drive.
Here's Zach Long to attempt the point after. And he will hammer that through the uprights. Tulsa not backing down after the opening Ole Miss score. They go 12 plays and 5:21. We're tied at 7.
Network Football is brought to you by Duke's Mayo, the only condiment with twang.
Well, you see the retired numbers of Archie Manning, Eli Manning, and Chucky Mullins, and there will be one more added to that at the end of this season at the Egg Bowl. For a man who means so much to this program and so much to so many athletes here at Ole Miss. As Ben Williams will be honored. The late Ben Williams, who played here back in the 70s, was a defensive machine for the Rebels. As Ole Miss takes this kickoff out to the 21-yard line. And well, Ben Williams, who died back in 2020, will be honored later this year with his number being retired, the jersey retirement. Deuce, you and I were talking today. That's a really big deal here.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. You talk about the first African-American football player here at Ole Miss, and had a successful career with the Buffalo Bills, and a family that's near and dear to me. You talk about his wife Linda Williams, his kids Asia Williams, and their son Jared. I mean, he means a lot, and so this was one that I'm proud to see the university honor with the thing that he did for this university.
It's a heck of a player here as Ole Miss goes with Zach Evans. Just to give you an idea about how good Ben Williams was, 37 career sacks, still the most in Ole Miss history. 377 career tackles, are still 4th most by anyone to ever wear this Ole Miss jersey. That's how dominant he was.
Pretty special.
And off right side, they'll go with Evans again. Jaden Simon coming up there to make the play for Tulsa. Hey, how about that drive? What a confidence boost by Tulsa, right? On the road, doing that, answering the bell.
Well, when you can answer the bell for an offense that goes down, easily against you, I think that gives you a little bit of confidence and proves that you can play with this team.
Dart going up top, has a man, and it is bobbled and finally dropped around the 40-yard line. Boy, it would have been a heck of a catch by Watkins if he could have held on. And Darren Ray back there in coverage.
And this is one that he's got to be able to come up with. That ball is probably a little bit behind him. He has a step on Ray, and Watkins, it's a slot fade for Watkins, and he's got to be able to come up with that ball. And if you're Dart, you want to put it out just a little bit further. I mean, that was another potential touchdown for Ole Miss.
So here's the punt team. Frazier Mazine averaging 41 yards a punt. Stands are out the 6-yard line, gets that one away, end over end. Here is Keelan Stokes, the electrifying runner. Can he turn the corner? And he just hit, needed one block. There is a flag down around the 25-yard line, however.
If you're Ole Miss, you want a little more hang time on that punt as well.
During the kick, holding. Receiving team, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Well, tonight, SEC football final is back for another season with Dari, Chris, Benjamin, and Takeo. They'll take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the games. 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, right here on the SEC Network and, of course, on the ESPN app. Already a lot to talk about.
Well, definitely a lot to talk about. And I mean, if you're Tulsa, I mean, how upset are you? That's an almost 40-yard swing just because of that hole on that punt return. You were potentially starting in Ole Miss territory for your second drive, and now you're at the 25 backed up on your end. And so we'll see how aggressive they are. You hit a couple of short passes on Ole Miss, and you were able to convert on third down with some runs and throws. See if they can get something going here on this drive as well.
Boy, Missouri had a chance to take down Auburn today. Couldn't do it in overtime. It'll be a long plane ride back to Columbia, Missouri. Here, Tulsa put together an 87-yard drive on their opening possession. It's their longest scoring drive of the season. They had an 86-yarder against Wyoming as Ford picks up 3.
and you see them use tempo when they need to, but also you don't want to give a lot of chances to that Ole Miss offense, and so they'll slow things down a little bit and make sure that they have the right call that they want to go against this defense.
2nd down and 7. 3-man rush again by the Rebs. Stokes with a great catch over the shoulder. Nice throw by Bren. Or excuse me, that was by J.C. Santana.
You talk about the throw by Bren, the catch by Santana. Man, to locate this football and be able to come up with it, that is a really, really nice job. Someone that's probably known as a speedster, not necessarily a possession receiver.
Look at Ford dance his way through that line of scrimmage into Ole Miss territory around the 47. That's a gain of 5. A.J. Finley back there making a tackle for this Rebel defense that has just been fantastic this season. I mean, giving up just a shade over 4 points a game. They came in allowing just 71 yards on the ground.
One of the things you're going to see is they're going to test that D-line to see if they can make some plays, and so far that Tulsa front has been winning some of those opportunities.
Boy, big collision. Bren diving for that 1st down line. Young meeting Brim for the first time today. Gain of 4, and that'll be good enough for the 1st down. Well, there's one thing about this Ole Miss secondary. Talking to Coach Kiffin and Chris Parcher, the co-defensive coordinator here. This secondary will hit you.
Well, that was a hit by Young. I mean, he really came up. We've seen both quarterbacks take big-time shots here early in this 1st quarter.
They'll hand it to Anderson. Big hole up the middle. He has a 1st down and a whole lot more down to the 26-yard line. That is an 18-yard pickup.
You get pressure off of the edge by Ole Miss, but inside, I mean, it just opened up way too much, and so those defensive tackles, they're getting up the field, but I mean, your linebackers aren't able to scrape and be able to make those plays, and that's just a split zone, and nice job up front by that Tulsa offensive line, who has not played together a lot at all.
2nd time this year. As a matter of fact, this is another different starting lineup. They've started a different group 4 straight games because of injuries. That one is incomplete.
Quarterback, Bren kind of grimacing there. I'm not sure if he got stepped on or what. That throw was off target a little bit to Malachi Jones. And that may be I don't know if he got stepped on or the hit from Young earlier.
Boy, you're right, Deuce. Deuce definitely, when he puts some weight on that left side, it looks like he is favoring it. See how it affects him here on 2nd down. Gives it to Ford, and take it down to the 20-yard line. But you can definitely see Brent in some pain back there, laboring a bit.
Yeah, and Dave, you can see even on the handoff there, he never even stepped to be able to get it. He just reached to be able to get it to the running back, but he never really stepped to be able to get the football to the tailback. It was almost just reaching to him, and maybe it's something that he can shake off, but he's definitely dealing with something.
460 against Wyoming in the opener. 3rd down. Oh, he's got room to run, but wants to throw it, and a wise decision. That will be a Tulsa touchdown to Isaiah Epps, the former Kentucky Wildcat. 20 more yards for the Hurricane.
It's a really nice job. It's almost like an out and up, and we'll take another look at it here, but the Ole Miss defenders, they just lose them, and Bren could have ran for that 1st down like you talked about. And defensively, they just drop coverage. I don't know if the safety was supposed to get over the top or the cornerback was supposed to go with him, but it was just a double move out and up by Epps, and scores another touchdown here for Tulsa.
Point after is up and good. So Tulsa scored 14 against this Ole Miss defense that had allowed just 13 in 3 games.
Yeah, as we go back and look at it, just some miscommunication, and whether the safety was supposed to stay deep or not, A.J. Finley, or you talk about Davidson, the freshman, supposed to go with the outside receiver. Just a bad job of communicating on that side, and both guys kind of covering the guy in the flat, and nobody's covering Epps running deep.
Boy, Philip Montgomery has his team out 14-7 in front of the 16th ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Only returned 4 starters on offense this year and replacing their entire starting offensive line, but so far no signs of a step backwards. Man, got this stadium quiet in a hurry.
Very quiet in a hurry, and nice job so far by that offensive line, just being able to open up holes as far as running the football, but giving your quarterback time as well.
75 yards, 8 plays, 3.5 minutes. Again, converts a couple of third downs along the way. This kick into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback out to the 25-yard line. Time to get an update. Let's get you to the studio.
Hi, Dave. Thank you much. Dari Noka here with you. And finally, yes, we talk about Anthony Richardson and no touchdown passes, but how about this play? Sliding around, slithering in the pocket, and he finds Keon Zipperer. And the tackling is Tennessee's playing flag football and still failed, though they are now inside the 5 themselves, guys.
All right. Thank you, Dari. 14-7 here. Dart gets pop loose football on the deck. I think Ole Miss on Judkins. Let's see what they're going to say. Tulsa came out of there with it, but I think they're going to give it to Ole Miss.
Dave, that ball never got back to the quarterback. You have your center that's pulling, and it literally hit his back end, and it was on the ground. He kicked it forward, and I think Judkins did recover it, and he probably got it taken from him under that pile. But that football, as your center is pulling, Caleb Warren, the center, as he was pulling, it kind of hit his back end. And it's on the ground for a second there, and he kicked it forward. And I think Judkins was the one that recovered, but Tulsa came up with the fumble after that.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
Interesting.
Wow.
So now you have to have, of course, conclusive evidence to overturn it.
Well, you can see the snap never gets back to the quarterback. Judkins sees it, but that looks clear as day that he has it, and I think Powers takes it away from him.
Correction. The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the offense. It'll be second down.
Can't say it's early for the officials. Maybe early in the game for him.
So the Ole Miss offense will get back out there. Philip Montgomery. Lane Kiffin not happy about something.
He's still giving it to the officials a little bit as far as whatever happened there. Even your center, Caleb Warren, is talking to the officials about something. But Ole Miss fortunate that you pick up a couple yards on a fumble play as well.
You keep looking at Jackson Dart, too. When he got hit, the ball never got to him on that last play, but he got walloped by a Tulsa defender, and I think it kind of smashed his left hand. He's been holding on to that thing since that play happened. He goes up top, and that one, it will be whistled for a defensive violation. Flags come flying in. Trying to hit Malik Heath. Tyon Davis back there in coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's a one-on-one with Malik Heath and Tyon Davis, and you can see the quarterback just trying to throw a fade and let his bigger receiver go up and high point the football, but he kind of gets pulled. One thing that you do see also is Tulsa bringing pressure, kind of like you talked about on the fumble play. Jackson Dart getting hit there. Ole Miss picks it up enough to where he doesn't get hit, but you see the pressure being brought by Tulsa.
That'll move the ball out to the 49. First down and 10. Play action here. Dart. He's trying to go deep down the middle. Mingo was there, but kind of cut his route off a little bit. The ball sailed over his head. Bryson Powers in coverage.
And that's one where your quarterback, he wants you to keep that post a little bit high. But as you talked about, Dave, Mingo kind of cut it underneath. There was really no way for him to be able to catch that football. And those are some of the kinks that you talked about, that we talked about in the pregame, as far as that Ole Miss wanted to be able to hopefully get worked out before they go into SEC play.
Dart. Boy, Michael Trigg almost able to scoop that one up off the turf. Falls a little bit shy of him. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Justin Wright with the pressure. Ole Miss trying to pull your guard and be able to get almost a levels throw to Trigg, and just not enough time for Dart to be able to set his feet because of that pressure, and Ole Miss not picking it up.
Pass is caught by Trigg. His forward progress, though, will be spotted at the 48. Now Ole Miss right in that 4th down, go for it type range. Matter of fact, last year they went for it on 4th down 40 times last year. An FBS high, and they converted 60% of those conversions. This year they're 4 out of 6. Here's Dart. He'll keep it. Oh, flipped up in the air and flips forward to the 44-yard line by Tyon Davis, and that's a 1st down.
That wakes this crowd up, gets them back excited, back involved in this football game.
Off the left side, Judkins.
Take another look at this 4th down play. That's, what, your 3rd big hit of your quarterback here in the 1st quarter.
They'll go left side again with Judkins. He'll be stopped at the 35.
Defensively, Tulsa just being a lot aggressive. You bring in safeties across the board. That defensive line is winning up front as well.
Dart keeps it, has the 1st down, a lot more. He is dropped around the 23-yard line by Tyon Davis, but that's a 13-yard pickup by the Ole Miss quarterback.
Well, defensively, they're selling out to stop the runs, and Dart is just able to be able to get on the edge. If Malik is able to finish that block, quarterback is able to scamper into the end zone.
54 yards rushing on 4 carries for Jackson Dart. There are flags down at the line of scrimmage and a false start against Ole Miss.
False start. Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Eli Acker, the freshman All-SEC performer from a year ago.
And Dave, this is the first time Ole Miss has been down all season as far as points-wise. So, I mean, your offense may be pressing a little bit with some of the things that we see them doing.
Coming near side, Malik Heath with the catch. They'll spot him around the 9-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal now for the Rebels after a 19-yard pickup. Judkins stopped at the line of scrimmage, no gain.
It was interesting. Ole Miss didn't even have to run a play that right before the quarter, and they do get a couple yards out of it.
Well, that'll be it for the 1st quarter. We thought we'd have some offense, and we certainly weren't lying. It's 14-7, Tulsa out in front. Here in Oxford, Mississippi, temperature's supposed to cool down a little bit in the coming days, hopefully fall around the corner, but it has to be out there. I was down on the field before the game, Deuce. It had to be close to 100 degrees down there. Of course, at Tulsa earlier this week, it did hit 100 degrees, so the Hurricane not going to be intimidated by this heat. They have not been intimidated to this point. 2nd down and goal by the Rebels. We'll dump off underneath to Trigg, who is hit out of bounds around the 4-yard line. So now it's 3rd and goal.
It's one where you want to make that decision a little bit quicker, just so you allow your tight end to have some real estate to be able to turn that football up. And Triggs got to understand that he's got to slow down a little bit or he's going to run out of real estate to be able to turn it up.
3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. Pistol formation with Judkins, the freshman, at running back. They'll hand it to him. Goes left side, bounces off a defender, in for the touchdown. His 4th of the year from 4 yards out.
Physical run, David. A little split zone look, and I mean, you've got 2 guys that have a shot to bring him down before he scores, and technically he's in the end zone before he kind of falls down. But I mean, as a freshman, the things that he's been able to show and do early on, it has been very, very impressive.
Jonathan Cruz trying to tie this one up, and he will do so. Both teams racking up some yards. We are tied at 14 here in Oxford. Second quarter football here at Oxford. Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. Thinking Out Loud is back for another season with Spencer Hall and Richard Johnson. They'll break down the weekend on the gridiron, talk about the hottest topics for the coming week, and preview Saturday's biggest games right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. Of course, one of those big games will be right here in Oxford. Kentucky comes a-calling. Kentucky will have their hands full tonight with Northern Illinois. Meanwhile, Ole Miss is all they want right now from this Golden Hurricane team. Tied at 14 as Jonathan Cruz gets set to kick it away. And it'll be a touchback. Let's go downstairs to Marilyn Payne.
Davis Brin will retake the field for Tulsa with his right ankle only lightly taped. After his last touchdown drive, he went straight into the injury tent. And as the training staff was taping up that ankle, Ole Miss fumbled. So he rushed out of the tent with the job only partway done. When Ole Miss maintained possession, he went back in the tent. It's 4th down, and he comes running back out. Ole Miss converts again, and he gave up at that point, trying to get his ankle fully taped. Philip Montgomery asked his quarterback, "Are you going to be okay?" He said, "I'm going to have to be. I'm fine." But all his weight on his left ankle the entire time he was standing on the sideline over there.
All right, Marilyn, thanks. It's good to see him back out there. We'll see exactly how much that ankle will affect him. So far, it has not. Handoff there will go to Jordan Ford. Just to put in perspective how important Brin is. Averaging 402 yards passing per game. That leads the FBS. 11 touchdown passes coming into this one. Leads the FBS. I mean, this guy has got some serious weapons, and another injured Golden Hurricane player as Ford just kind of limps off the field again.
And that's not good. I mean, he got to the sideline and he threw his helmet off.
Low snap. Here's Anderson, a 260-pound tailback, met by Troy Brown.
Okay, we'll take another look at Ford and see if we can see where he kind of twists that ankle. I think that's his right ankle. It's going to be, I think he just got rolled and twisted over. Hopefully that's something that he can be able to tape up and get back in. But you can tell on the sideline he's in a pretty good amount of pain.
So it looks like a passing situation here for Tulsa. 3rd down and 6. We'll see how Brin handles this with that bum ankle of his own. Whistles will stop play. Delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Now you go from a 3rd and manageable to a 3rd and long type situation. And, with Brin, you probably know that he's probably going to be in a quick game type situation. Ole Miss did not look like they were going to bring any pressure or a lot of pressure. A 3-down look with Cedric Johnson kind of walking around. So you'll probably get 4 guys bringing pressure.
Yeah, 4 guys with their hand on the dirt right now for the Rebels. They are rushing 4. Pocket collapses. High throw. It's caught there by Malachi Jones, but he is well shy of the line of gain, which is out at the 35, and they'll spot him way back at the 32-yard line, so a gain of about 8.
You can see on that throw for Davis Brin, he never was able to throw it, and that's why that ball kind of sailed as well. It was never really able to step into the throw, and that's why that football sailed on him a little bit, and Ole Miss is able to rally to the football and make that stop short of the first down.
Lachlan Wilson from Australia punts it away. It's returnable, but dropped by Watkins. He picks it up, comes near side, and he makes something out of nothing. So the Rebels.
See, Watkins just let it go. It goes right through his breadbasket, and that's the second time. You know, one slot fade that he had probably should have made a play on, and this one he's able to kind of recover it and at least get some positive yards on that punt return.
Jackson Dart has shown us his ability to run with the football. He has carried it 4 times for 54 yards. He's averaging 13 yards a carry, Deuce.
Well, that's one thing that, you know, it looks like Tulsa is going to say, hey, look, we'll take the running backs away. We want to see if the quarterback can do it.
Well, we know this guy can do it. Winshawn Judkins will have the first down. Tosses it to the umpire, who sets it down. Actually, they're going to, let's see, spot him about a half a yard shy. Yeah, it'll be second down in inches. Quick handoff back to Judkins. Only needed about a half a yard, if that. Justin Wright, the middle backer, making a play, but that's enough for the first down.
And Ole Miss went back to that same play. They felt like that they could get a first down out of that personnel grouping in that formation. They went back to it. Now they kind of change it a little bit here.
So first down and 10 for the Rebs. They'll move Judkins to the left side. True freshman out of Pike Road High School in Alabama. Dancing around. Oh, look at those nifty moves. Judkins inside the 35-yard line, brought down by Jackson on the back end, 23 yards.
Just really a nice job setting that block up.
The result of the play is a
you
first
talk
down.
about being able to get around Eli Acker's block. I mean, he's doing things that you normally don't see from a young running back, and that's just very, very impressive.
Got an injured Tulsa player around midfield. While they tend to him, we'll step aside. 10:42 to go, second quarter. So Hayden Grant was the injured Hurricane player. He walked off under his own power. See if he can get back on the football field before the day's over. 10:42 to go. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, Maryland Payne down on the sidelines today. Philip Montgomery's club comes in 2-1. They lost their opener by a field goal to Wyoming, 40-37, and they beat Northern Illinois 38-35 and just whooped up on Jacksonville State 54-17. We talked about the injury to Dart. We saw in the last possession that when he got hit by a Tulsa defender and it was shaking that left hand. Well, he came out this possession. Looks like there's some tape and a glove on there. Obviously the non-throwing hand, so that's good news as this looks like it's heading that way to the end zone. Touchdown. What a throw. Malik Heath with the reception, 31 yards. And Dart just threw a dart.
It's just go route. And I'm not surprised that they take a shot just because you had a stoppage in play. You're at a good spot in the field right there, mid-30. And I mean, it's one-on-one. And that's just pitch and catch. That's 7-on-7. And, you know, you talk about Tyree Carlisle trying to cover him, the cornerback, and there's nothing that he could do. Just a perfect throw, nice route. Couldn't redirect Malik Heath, and he's able to catch that one and bring it in for a touchdown.
Point after is up and good for Malik Heath, who had 8 touchdown grabs at Mississippi State in his career before coming to Ole Miss this year. That's now his 3rd with the Rebels, and Jackson Dart has been very sharp today with his passes.
He's done a nice job of making good decisions with the football, and you talk about some of the throws that he's been able to hit. This is a nice one. Like I said earlier, you talk about the slot fade to Jordan Watkins. That probably should have been a catch as well. He's been able to distribute the football. Jonathan Mingo has caught a pass. Michael Trigg has caught a pass, and we know what that run game can do for them as well. And so if they're able to push the football down the field for explosive plays, that makes this offense even tougher to defend.
Dart, 6 of 9, throwing the football, 74 yards and a touchdown. He's carried it 4 times for 54 yards, a career high rushing for him. And he's hit 4 straight through the air, has Dart. And Ole Miss back out in front by a touchdown. So Jonathan Cruz will kick it away. Marquise shoulders back there to return this kick. It's a line drive. That is not a good one by Cruz. It'll go out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The receiving team has elected to place the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
Here are our featured volleyball and soccer matchups for tomorrow afternoon right here on this very network, and of course always on the ESPN app. Kentucky hosts LSU on the court at Memorial Coliseum at noon Eastern. Then at 4 Eastern, it's off to Ole Miss Soccer Stadium. Number 13, Rebs squaring off against Auburn. Great afternoon of action in the SEC right here on the SEC network. Well, let's see if Davis, both quarterbacks a little dinged up. We've seen a couple of guys get hurt. Dinged up for both teams early on in this one. Bill Jackson is now in at running back. They'll give it to number 0. Jackson and Ford, 2 guys that certainly have a lot of speed. Anderson is their big workhorse back at 260 pounds. Jackson's carried it 13 times this year for 71 yards. Redshirt freshman out of St. Louis with his first carry today. Sets up a 2nd down and 5. There's Keelan Stokes in motion across the formation. See if they go that way. Nope, they'll go over the middle, and that one is almost picked off. Bren overthrew Malachi Jones. Tysheem Johnson almost had the interception.
This would have been a heck of a throw and catch. You talk about just because there's so many bodies around there, and Tyson Young almost came up with the interception. I mean, but that you would have had to thread the needle. You talk about just really good job. Ashanti Sistrunk carrying the receiver as well.
Looks like some movement by Ole Miss. I wonder if Jared Ivey forced Jaden Muskrat to move.
Outside. Defense, number 15, in the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, that'll give the Hurricane a first down. Boy, talking to Philip Montgomery this week, he knew this would be a tough test, but boy, he had some confidence about his club. Oh, Brent is hit, and that pass is, they're going to say, caught inside Ole Miss territory by Isaiah Epps. Give him a gain of 8 on the play.
Really nice job of Wren just being able to hang in there, and that was Cedric Johnson with the big hit on him, and Epps does a nice job of being able to locate this football and come up with the catch here as well.
They're going to take another look at it.
The ruling on the field is a pass for a completion. The previous play is under review.
Sometimes when there's plays like that, Deuce, I wonder why the offense doesn't get up and try to run a play quickly.
Well, I thought that they felt pretty confident as far as Tulsa that there was a catch, and you can see just Brand very, very gingerly walk off the field. And I thought that he did a good job of catching this. I don't think that this football, unless the nose of the ball just hit the ground.
Oh, that's incomplete.
Yeah, it did hit the ground. And we were kind of blocked out. It was right there by that Ole Miss sideline, and I thought he did a nice job of snagging it, but it does hit the ground. So This football is going to come back, and so the pressure by Cedric Johnson forces the missed throw by Bryn.
That's when I think tempo would be your friend.
Oh, no doubt about it. Particularly the guys up above that kind of saw it in live action, to be able to say, hey, look, that ball may have been close. We may want to get up on the line of scrimmage and get a snap in immediately. Dave, if you're Philip Montgomery, how confident right now are you with your team the way that they're playing?
The ruling is that the receiver did not have possession of the ball. He hit the ground. That's an incomplete pass. He's second down.
Here's a look at Epps, who transferred in from Kentucky, but grew up right there in Tulsa, went to that powerhouse Jinx High School, a graduate. Came in with 9 catches, a couple of touchdowns for the Hurricane. Boy, there is no doubt that Davis Bryn is not close to 100%.
He's definitely laboring.
Second down and 10 now. 4-man look at the line for Ole Miss. They will bring 4. Bryn throws, and that one is batted away. Good play on the back end by Otis Reese.
Talk about the pressure Ole Miss was able to bring in offensively. Tulsa was able to pick it up. Nice job. PBU by Otis Reese there on the coverage.
Tulsa hit on their first 3 third-down conversions this afternoon. They missed on their last one. They tried to convert here. They have to get all the way down to the Ole Miss 44.5-yard line. Bryn. Boy, he just does not want to run with the football. Well, a referee. Some guys getting tangled up in the backfield, but no flags.
You can see the offensive line, they do a pretty good job, but you can see Bryn just never really comfortable, and kind of Brown comes in late to force the throw, but nice job down the field out at Ole Miss secondary of being able to take some of those route combinations away, and Bryn just never really feeling comfortable.
Now Lachlan Wilson will punt it away. Short end over end kick. Takes a favorable Tulsa bounce, but scooped up there by Watkins. Boy, that was a dangerous play. With a Tulsa defender right in his face. But he held on to the football. Under 9 minutes to go. Rebels up by 7. 8:59 to go second quarter. Rebs up by 7 over the Golden Hurricane. Rushing has been the story for this Ole Miss offense here in 2022. They are rushing for 271 yards a game. We saw Zach Evans early, and we saw Jackson Dart go crazy. Matter of fact, he has a career-high 54 yards rushing. And lately it's been Quinshon Judkins, but now it is back to Zach Evans at tailback. This offense was obviously with Matt Corral throwing the ball all over the ballpark last year. It's changed a little bit dynamically in terms of the run game. It's been very impressive so far.
Well, definitely impressive, and I think, just to have those guys that can run it the way that they do, and then knowing that you can potentially still take the top off of defense with some of the receivers that you have, I think that just gives them the balance that they look for. But up front, that's where it starts with this offensive line. If they can get some of their hat on a guy, then there are going to be some lanes.
Not much of a lane there for Evans. Lost a yard. This Rebel team ran for 316 yards last week against Georgia Tech and 6 touchdowns. That was the first time they've had 300-plus rushing yards against a Power 5 team since 2009. Oh, there comes some flags for a face mask as Judkins is slammed to the turf by Jaden Simon.
During the run, personal foul, face mask, defense, number 90, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Big fellow who transferred in from Colorado.
Dave, a little gamemanship going on as well here. We see the face mask there by Simon, but it looked like Tulsa wanted to sub, but I don't think the defensive players saw when Judkins came onto the field. It looked like that they wanted to sub. They probably could have got a delay of game and forced Ole Miss to call a timeout.
Dart dodges one defender, throws back over the middle, incomplete. Was trying to hit Jordan Watkins. Pressure came from Kendarin Ray.
We've talked about the pressure that Tulsa has been able to bring. Just a nice job, 3 pressures so far, and Dart takes another big-time hit.
Pocket collapses again, and this one is incomplete. There's a flag in the backfield, however, that came in a little bit late after the pass was delivered. They were trying to hit Trigg with it over the middle.
Personal foul, roughing the pass or low hit, defense, number 6, 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's the linebacker, John Michael Terry. And he did go low.
He went low, but
there wasn't much to it.
There wasn't much to it. You know, I don't know if he even fully swiped at the legs, but you definitely can't go low.
Tried to clean up that hit in college football a couple of years ago. Put a little emphasis on that. First down and 10 now. There is Evans out over the 45-yard line. It's a 7-yard run. Brian Johnson with the tackle.
2nd and 3.
Quick hitter caught by Watkins. He has a first down at midfield. L.J. Wallace with the stop.
I think if you're Ole Miss, that's what you kind of do when you have the opportunities to maybe get an outside one-on-one throw. You do it, but you know, get the football out of your quarterback, out of his hand, so he's not taking as many shots.
Zach Evans in it, running back. Mingo with just 1 catch today. Mingo came in with 9 catches on the year. He and Heath with 9. Evans first down inside the 40. Gain of 11.
On the tackle, number 21, Bryson Powers. First down. Ole Miss.
And whistles will stop the play. Lane Kiffin just threw his arms up like, what are we doing?
Are they checking the spot of this football, or?
The official timeout for a chain adjustment. The previous play resulted in 2nd down.
Yeah, it was basically the spot of it. They called it. They gave him a first down, but it was really probably about a yard short.
So 2nd down and a yard. Judkins back in at running back. They'll hand it to him. Makes a couple of guys miss, puts his hand on the ground, stays on his feet to the 30-yard line, and there's your first down. Gain of 10.
Saw the power earlier. Now you see just the balance, his agility. Just does an outstanding job of running the football.
Dart. No whistle. They're saying loose football. And Tulsa will have it.
It looked like his arm was going forward, but it was a late whistle, and so we talked about the enormous amount of pressure.
The fumble recovered by the defense.
Bryson Powers. We'll take another look at it here. It's pressure off of the edge, and he's being blocked or trying to be blocked by Triggs, and Powers throws his hands up. He does a nice job of, as your quarterback, Jackson Dart tries to throw this football. Trigg has to do a better job. That's going to be a fumble. His arm is coming forward, but I think that I think that Powers does a nice job of being able just to knock that football out of his hands. It's one where you want your quarterback to maybe, if possible, to step up. He's retreating, and from a defensive standpoint, you're just running the circle. I don't know if Trigg knows that his quarterback is going to have that much depth as far as the drop is concerned. Talked about Tulsa bringing pressure different places. I thought that's where Ole Miss would want to work the quick game a little bit, and you had someone open going across the middle. Tulsa's been able to pressure this Ole Miss offense so far.
Again, it's got to be indisputable, and ruling on the field was loose football. Tulsa gained possession.
You talk about the offensive line, they don't know that football is behind them. I mean, there's no way that they can turn, almost fall on it. I mean, because they're in protection. That was Powers off of the edge. He's matched up against Michael Trigg there and does a nice job. You can see him just reach out. He doesn't swipe to try to make the sack. He swipes to knock the football out. Quarterback's arm is going forward a little bit, but I don't know if he has complete control of that football.
Yeah, it's almost like right as he got to the back point, it got hit out of his hand. So the moment that he goes forward, it's not in his hand.
Not completely, and I think since they called it a fumble, I don't know if they're going to have enough evidence to be able to change that call. But you can tell Tulsa defensively at times is giving Ole Miss a ton of problems. I just think as that arm starts to go forward, you can see that football kind of moving in his hands.
After review, the passer's hand was moving forward with control of the ball. With an incomplete pass, second down.
Certainly a good break for Ole Miss to retain possession.
Well, the officials beg to differ. It's close, I can tell you that much.
No doubt about it. Philip Montgomery believes it should be Golden Hurricane football, but instead Ole Miss will set up shop at the 30-yard line, second down and 10.
Remember when it was stoppage of play last time, it was just a one-on-one, a go route to
touchdown.
Yep, Malik. Let's see if they try it again here.
We'll put Mingo in motion, and they'll run it on the ground. There goes Judkins. He'll be out of bounds at the 7-yard line. First and goal, Ole Miss, a gain of 23.
It's not a touchdown, but it's definitely a first down. Nice job of Caleb Warren. And, you know, we talked about this freshman. It's the vision this play just to be able to get right behind in that A gap to be able to find that hole and pick up the first down.
Another 10-play drive for Ole Miss. Judkins driving and gets close to the goal line. He'll be a yard shy. 6 more yards for the freshman.
The power, the jump cut now, and to be able to keep your balance and almost get in the end zone.
Give it to him one more time, and he lunges for the line, and he'll be a few inches shy. Handoff again, right side. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Second today for Quinshon Judkins. A 13-play drive for the Rebels.
And Dave, one where they were challenged a little bit by that Tulsa defense, and they were able to still stick with it, and you get the fortunate call as far as to say it was not a fumble, and Judkins, he comes right back and he gives you a big run to put you in the red zone or right there inside of the 10-yard line, and he's able to finish it off with a touchdown.
Judkins now with 87 yards on the ground, had 98 yards last week. And the win over Georgia Tech on 19 carries and a couple of touchdowns. Boy, he's racking them up now. 5 rushing touchdowns on the year for the true freshman out of Alabama. Point after is up and good. Rebels have rushed for 186 yards and put up 28 points.
Auto Owners Insurance halftime report coming up. We'll show you what's happened there at the half in Knoxville, Tennessee, Florida. Get you caught up on the full day preview. Arkansas A&M. Ole Miss has finally turned it on.
Well, the defense has stabilized. They gave up 162 yards in the first quarter. Now only 18 in the second. They're getting off the field on third downs.
That rush game, too. Can't forget about that.
186 on the ground. That looks like this Ole Miss team, guys.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, the offense for Ole Miss, 266 yards and 186 of that on the ground. I mean, there is no doubt that there is a change going on here in terms of what we saw last year. And it's worked quite well. Now, next week when Kentucky comes in here, we'll see if that run game can sustain itself for the long haul.
Well, you're going to get tested. You're going to get tested in a lot of different ways, and I think, they're still figuring out from an identity standpoint who they are. But we know up front, as far as that offensive line being able to move people and having the talent in the backfield, that's definitely the case.
So during that timeout, I had an opportunity to look across the way at Philip Montgomery, who had his hands on the shoulder pads of Davis Brin, was talking to him. And it must have been a discussion about, hey, you just can't move. We're going to make a change. And that's what they've done. They've gone with Braylon Braxton now at quarterback. He'll hand it off to the big back Steven Anderson out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. So the redshirt freshman out of Frisco, Texas, who has thrown 5 passes on the year, 4 out of 5 for 26 yards and a touchdown. In the game, getting some work here against Ole Miss. Hands it off to Anderson again. That is a tough tackle, but Miles Battle stays in there and makes a play.
Well, you better bring it all when you talk about tackling Anderson, and you talked about Braxton. Braxton's probably more of your wildcat quarterback, but if he can throw the football a little, that just gives this offense a different dimension.
On first down and 10, he'll throw here, or look to throw. Stays on his feet, throws near side. Nice catch at midfield. Well done by Stokes to haul that one in. That's a gain of 9.
Just really nice job by Braxton being able to buy some time, because the first option that he wanted to go up top was not there. Ole Miss can't get him down, and he keeps his eyes down the field. Nice job getting it to Stokes.
Braxton did play in 4 games last year before taking that red shirt. First down, boy, Anderson, 260-pounder. He is something else now. That is a big old boy carrying a football.
And that was Trey Washington that found out that Anderson has some weight to himself.
What did you play at? Like when you were at Ole Miss, what was your playing weight roughly?
About 210.
Oh, my goodness. And I thought you were a big back at 210.
Correct.
Right.
That's a big back.
Right. Here's Bill Jackson in the game. Jackson goes 185, but they'll throw, and the catch is made. Colby Powers, the tight end, hangs on, only a yard. Boy, he took an awkward fall. He'll step to the sideline, catch his breath.
This is a high ball. We'll talk about that's a tough fall. Then you have Tennyson coming across.
That was a lot of work for 1 yard. Every yard matters, though. Second down and 9. Low snap. Boy, nice little cut there by Jackson. Could have been a loss of a yard. Instead, he'll pick up 5, maybe 6. Cedric Johnson brings him down.
Nice patience by Jackson. Nice hesitation there. And you talked about it. Ole Miss kind of froze a little bit just because of his ability to be able to start and stop there on that run. You see Ole Miss being able to bring safeties off of the edge as well with Braxton in the quarterback.
So third down and 4. Jackson getting the signs from his coaches. See what they decide to do with the redshirt freshman quarterback. Pressure comes. Dancing around, backpedaling, throws it up in the air. This one could be picked off. Oh, it almost was. Good coverage by Otis Reese over there, just a half a step shy of picking that one off. Pressure came from Austin Keys.
And we talked about Ole Miss bringing pressure off of the edge. It looked like originally it's going to be Otis Reese, but it was the two linebackers that were able to get that pressure, and it looks like Tulsa's going to go for it here.
Tulsa's 2 of 3 on third downs this year. They need 4 yards. Looked like Ole Miss was about to bring some pressure. See if they back off it here. Philip Montgomery's going to wanted a timeout. Let's see. They're going to get a false start maybe before the timeout.
I think he did get that timeout in. It was going to be a delay of game on him. Philip Montgomery ran down to the official down all the way at the end.
Second charge timeout of the half. Tulsa. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, one official came in rolling their arms like somebody was moving. The timeout nullifies all that with 1:51 to go.
Well, I think that they saw exactly what you saw. Those two Mike linebackers again going to hit that A gap. On the previous pressure, it was kind of an X look in the A gap for those inside linebackers for Ole Miss, and I don't know if they liked that play call that they had, and Philip Montgomery calls another timeout. So normally if you see that look, you go to a speed option look. Problem is, if Ole Miss is coming off the edge into that, you want to go away with the speed option.
I gotta think Philip Montgomery's hot. I mean, it's like 100 degrees down there. My man's wearing a pullover.
Well, he's not very happy with the officials on some of those calls.
A lot of reasons he's hot. 4th down and 4. Pressure comes, passes, picked off. Intercepted by A.J. Finley. A 17-yard return and his first interception of the year.
Dave, Austin Keys forces this throw as far as to be a little bit off target. And you talked about Finley. Finley's just reading the route. He's reading the route by the receiver. He's able to jump it right there. But Braxton kind of got speeded up a little bit. It was they were rolling the quarterback out. They had trips on one side, and it looked like they were just running spot routes to be able to get enough yardage to sit down and get the first down. But Austin Keys being able to break through that offensive line forces the missed throw there by Braxton, and A.J. Finley is able to pick it off.
Finley led this team in interceptions the last 2 years. Matter of fact, had 3 picks a year ago. His first one of 2022 for the senior out of Mobile. Sets up Ole Miss at the 46-yard line. Here goes Dart off the left side. Another nice game for Jackson Dart. More like Matt Corral with the run game today. He has picked up another 15 yards on the ground. Dart up to 69 yards rushing. Here's Mingo, catch and spin. One man to beat, cuts it inside. That'll be a touchdown. Ole Miss, Jonathan Mingo, 31 yards.
Dave, we talked about Ole Miss going to the quick game just because of the pressure that Tulsa was able to get. You can see them just run that hitch route to Mingo. First it was the corner that missed, and then the free safety. Ray, he really never had a chance. That's one where, you know, you don't want to go back and look at that one because he didn't get a hand on Mingo.
Going after is up and good. Now the Rebels in control, 35-14.
Yeah, that's just a hitch route, and you have the corner that is the first guy that misses it, and that's a nice little stutter step, and Ray doesn't come close to making that tackle on Mingo and get the football out of your quarterback's hand quickly. Just gives you a nice little inside-out jab step by Mingo, and even with 1 minute and 41 seconds on the clock, you knew that Ole Miss had plenty of time. And outside of the big run by Jackson Dart, they go right down the field and score another touchdown right here before the half. Has the fire extinguisher going on the sideline a little bit there.
Well, it's hot enough to start a fire.
Offensively, you've done some pretty good things, and defensively, you feel pretty good at where you are now, particularly with Brin possibly being out of the game.
Jonathan Cruz, his last kickoff, sailed out of bounds. Brought out to the 35-yard line. Don't want too many of those. They might find somebody else, like the Deuce out there to kick off.
I don't know about that one. but Lane Kiffin had a scowl on his face where he's just looking like, you know, he was not very happy when it happened.
This is a line drive that one hops, touched by Tulsa. And they'll take a knee, touchback in the end zone. Well, coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Pride of the South Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Well, here in the second quarter, it has been all Ole Miss, 28-0 in the second quarter in terms of scoring. 182 yards for the Rebels, just 54 for the Hurricane. It was 14-7 Tulsa at the end of the first quarter.
And I mean, I think, you know, whether it's injuries or that defense waking up a little bit, the game plan definitely changes with Braxton in at quarterback. They were able to make some adjustments and create some turnovers and get some stops.
Boy, a big opening here as Bill Jackson scooting down the sideline. He's got some good speed. He'll be chased out of bounds. A.J. Finley runs him out. A missed tackle allows a 47-yard pickup.
Yeah, it just happens at the line of scrimmage. You talk about from a defensive line, Gordon having a shot to be able to make that tackle at the line of scrimmage, not able to, and your linebackers nowhere to be found in your secondary, your safeties not able to make that tackle in the box as well.
There's Jackson again, trying to cut it back inside. Well played on the edge. Down to the 24-yard line. Tysheem Johnson, his fourth tackle this afternoon. Anderson. He's down to the 17. That'll be a first down.
Tackle number 21, A.J. Finley. First and 10, Tulsa. At the 17 of Ole Miss.
Well, the Hurricane with a chance here with 23 seconds, 22. Clock is moving. Put some points on the board. Braxton looking to throw, but now tucks it and will try to run for it. And there are 3-4 blue jerseys converging in a hurry, led by Troy Brown and Tysheem Johnson. That's a 6-yard pickup, timeout by the Hurricane.
Third and final time out of the half, Tulsa. 10-second timeout. Game clock operator, please put 10 seconds back on the game clock. 10 seconds, please.
All right, we'll be back in 15 seconds.
Wherever fun happens.
Thank you.
Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
Tulsa knocking on the door, 35-14. Their starting quarterback, Davis Brin, injured in the first quarter, tried to gut it out for a few series and just did not have any mobility. Philip Montgomery goes to their backup, the redshirt freshman, Braylon Braxton, who has thrown an interception today, which led to an Ole Miss touchdown.
And I was curious to how aggressive Tulsa was going to be offensively. They let a little time run off the clock without trying to get a play off, and there your quarterback does the right thing as far as running with the football, but the clock continues to move a little bit, and so we'll see if they try to get something into the end zone here to at least protect themselves to where they can have an opportunity to kick a field goal if they don't score.
To the corner of the end zone, looking for Epps. Incomplete. Isheem Young back there in coverage.
Love the call. It's just a slot fade. It's a corner route by the receiver, and he makes the catch, but he's clearly out of bounds. And you were not going across the middle with that football. It was going to either be a touchdown by Epps or what we saw as far as an incomplete, and it does leave enough time on the clock for you to attempt this field goal.
So the kicking team on the field, 28-yarder. Zach Long, who last year was phenomenal, hit 22 out of 23, 7 out of 7 this year. The hold is good. The kick is right down the middle. So some points to end the half for Tulsa. And it's a 35-17 tally. Well, that second quarter dominated by the Rebels.
Yeah, they did a nice job of being able to put some points on the board, but also pressure the quarterback, and you knock Brin look like out of the game. And Tulsa gets some points right there before the half, but I think Ole Miss, has to feel pretty good where they are offensively.
Yeah, after a 7-point first half. 28 in the second quarter. Let's go down to Maryland.
Coach, the first deficit of the season for your team bonded.
Well, I think it's the first time we've had some adversity on defense this year. So, we got to respond a lot better. We just gave up 3 points on a long run there. So we got a lot of work to do on defense, and we got to make sure we're not messing up on offense and sustain drives like we have.
You told us you were impressed with the way that Jackson Dart runs the ball. What has he done today in that regard that you like?
Jackson's played really well. He's got to continue to do that. All right, manage the game the way that he has, and these guys all of a sudden are playing man. Came out to stop the run, so he's got to let the outside receivers win the game, which is what's going on right now.
Thank you for the time.
All right, thanks.
Well, he put up 35 points, but still not very happy with the first 30 minutes of ball. Time for us to step aside. It's halftime here in Oxford. Let's get you to the studio. Dari?
Hi, Dave. Deuce.
Hot dog and some water. It's a hot day, and Ole Miss's offense put up 35 in the first half. They held this Tulsa team to 17. Both teams came in averaging 43 points a game. I think the numbers that jump out to me, obviously Ole Miss has been running the ball very well this year, averaging 270 yards a game on the ground, 201 in the first half. And Deuce, when you look at those numbers, obviously Jackson Dart is a big piece of this, and they really incorporated him in that run game in the first half.
Yeah, you had some design quarterback runs, and not to say that they haven't done that, but you probably saw it a little bit more. And even on some of those RPO runs, he was keeping it as far as just because Tulsa was so determined to take away as far as those running backs. And, when you rush for 201, that tells you that they were not able to take them completely away.
Yeah, we heard Lane Kiffin at halftime talk to Maryland Payne about his team facing some adversity for the first time this year, really defensively the first time they faced adversity. What did you make of the defense from Ole Miss facing against this high-powered Tulsa offense?
Probably up and down. I think, you're already matched what your season as far as you were giving up 71 yards. Yeah. You've given up 159 so far. And then there was times that Davis, as far as the quarterback for Tulsa, before he got hurt, he was giving you some pretty good fits as far as some of the things things that they were doing. So, you know, that's something that you have to kind of continue to improve on as the season goes on. But you've done the job that you were supposed to do.
Tulsa will have the football first to start the second half. And while we got a break, let's get down to the sidelines in Maryland.
Philip Montgomery said to expect to see Braylon Braxton at quarterback for the remainder of the day here today. He said he is our backup guy, so in that we have confidence in him, in particular around his athletic ability. He doesn't have much experience, but he's going to have to be the guy the rest of the way. Defensively, he wants to see his defense pressure Ole Miss much more consistently in the second half to try and make this competitive.
Boy, it's tough. You see Bren, I think it was second drive of that first half, and tried to gut it out for a few possessions, but just couldn't do it with a bad ankle, and he's still limping around on that sideline. A young man throwing for over 400 yards a game will be a spectator for the rest of this one. Handoff goes to Jordan Ford, who's been tough to bring down today for this Ole Miss defense. He picks up 11.
Well, and Ford did a nice job as well. You know, he had an ankle injury, and he was able, you can see him kind of run off the field. He was able to make some guys miss, and I thought that they've done a good job of being able to run on the edges against Ole Miss. And, you know, you talk about getting to that second level and third level, Ole Miss just hadn't been sure tackles enough.
This defense gave up 17 points in the first half. They'd only given up 13 total coming into the game. Boy, you see Braxton breaking some tackles. Still on his feet out to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 3, brought down by DeAndre Prince.
Prince is able to bring him down, but it was Austin Keys that had a shot early on that missed that tackle. And you talk about Braxton, he goes 6'3", 225, so he's not a small quarterback by any means.
Braxton had an unbelievable junior year where he threw for 3,000 yards and rushed for another 849, accounted for 45 touchdowns. Young man has got a nice skill set. You're seeing some of it right here. What a run by Braxton. That's a first down near midfield, actually across midfield. Another missed tackle helps set up that play of 11.
Well, they do a nice job of being able to pick off Otis Reese on the backside. The offensive line does, and you know we talked about early on Braxton being the kind of that wild card, that wildcat quarterback, and he's just making people miss. And that was one of the things that Ole Miss wanted to clean up this half, just missing too many tackles.
3-man look from the Rebs, and they will rush 3. Braxton throws near side, pass caught there by Powers. His second catch today, that's a gain of 9.
The level of difficulty on this catch by Powers, the first time he kind of went high and got hit. This one he's able to catch it and get his body turned up to be able to pick up some yardage.
They go with Steven Anderson. There's a flag down right at toward the end of that play.
I think this is going to be on Tulsa, outside the tackle box where you cut the defender. New rule emphasis.
Personal foul, illegal low block, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
Well, I said it was going to be on Tulsa, but it's actually against Ole Miss, and that's one where Troy Brown, he kind of goes low, and they want to cut that out completely, whether it's offense or defense, and that's just taking out the knees of the opposing player. And that time, Troy Brown, you got to kind of take that offensive lineman on, and thought the lineman kind of went low on him, but no, they said Brown initiated the low contact first.
That'll move it to the 21. They'll go with Jordan Ford, trying to get to the outside. He is thrown down to the turf. Tackle. Sistrunk making that stop.
It's been a nice opening drive so far by Tulsa, getting the football into the red zone of Ole Miss.
Yeah, reminiscent of their opening drive that they had in the first quarter. Marched it down for a touchdown. There goes Ford, cuts it back inside down to the 7-yard line. Rasheed Johnson takes him down, but not before he picks up a first down.
Tight end Ethan Hall does a nice job just being able to block on the edge. And now you talk about being able to be one-on-one with a strong safety, Ashim Young. He's able to bring forward down, but Tulsa's done a nice job of just spreading you out and making you tackle in space.
So 1st and goal. Boy, big hole off the left side, and Steven Anderson falls close to the goal line. They'll spot him just short. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. Tulsa lines up in a hurry. Anderson. Nowhere to go. Sometimes you say defense isn't set. It looked like the offense, even though that there was no flag, it almost looked like they were disjointed.
Well, they tried to line up and snap it, with a little tempo like you talked about and go fast. But the problem was, I don't know if they really had the assignments of who they wanted to block, because there was a ton of penetration there by Ole Miss, and they were really able to hit Anderson before he ever got home.
Clock down to 1. They just do get it off. Braxton, nowhere to go. He's just going to throw it out of the end zone. He was definitely outside the tackle box. Got it past the line of scrimmage. I don't think that there should be. They're going to throw a flag down on the far side just now.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. The pass was outside of the tackle box, and the pass crossed the line of scrimmage. 3rd down.
Take another look at it, and Otis Reese with the pressure, and I don't know if there was supposed to be a receiver in that area.
Direction, 4th down.
There's nobody there. Looks like Tulsa's going to try to attempt the field goal here.
Zach Long is already hit from 28. This one is from 20 yards. Out of the hold of Lachlan Wilson. And he splits the uprights. So 3 more on the board for the Golden Hurricane. 35-20 is our tally. Lead's been cut to 15 here in the 3rd quarter. Nice opening drive by Tulsa. Hey, our stellar SEC football lineup rolls on tonight beginning 7:30 Eastern Time. LSU hosting New Mexico on SEC Network Plus. And then it's 2nd-ranked Alabama hosting Vanderbilt right here on this SEC Network. Of course, you can always see it on the ESPN app as well. Vanderbilt may have found themselves a quarterback moving forward.
We saw him against Wake Forest. He looked good when he came in that 3rd quarter, and kind of did a pretty good job. And so far, he's played well for the Commodores.
We'll see how he does against that Alabama defense on the road. That's a whole nother ballgame for a true freshman now.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different.
But he does look good. He looks like they could build on him. They're throwing the football around in Nashville.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, you have to be able to throw the football in this league. You see Ole Miss being able to run the football, but I mean, you talk about being able to, when I may not have maybe some of the other athletes, you do have some skill guys at the receiver spot, and they have to be able to take advantage of that.
Boy, Dart had a really solid first half, both running the football and throwing it. Career high for him on the ground. And it continues to pile up yardage. Stiff arm, and he is out of bounds over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Boy, he's got a little Matt Corral, little feistiness in him running the football.
I mean, normally you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, look, get out of bounds. But he comes in and he tries to lay a stiff arm there, and he's fighting and pushing. He doesn't go down, but that would be the only thing. But that's definitely, a flair for your quarterback.
Handoff left side with Evans. Zach now with 8 carries today. He went 18 for 134 against Georgia Tech last weekend. A couple of touchdowns. 14th in the country, averaging 105 yards a game on the ground. Oh, run away from the blitz on the opposite side and pushed out of bounds at the 49. Gain of 6 for Zach.
And this is where we saw Tulsa have a lot of success being able to pressure Ole Miss off of those edges. And
boy, a big hit. Dart falls forward, should have the first down. He and Bryson Powers getting to know each other. Powers now with 8 tackles from his safety spot.
I don't know if this was designed for the quarterback because of the snap being low. Dart does the right thing, and he is able to pick up the football with his. He's able to pick up the first down with his legs.
Boy, nowhere to run that time for Evans. He's slammed to the turf by John Michael Terry, who had 6 tackles. A graduate from right there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. One of the team captains. 7th year of college football for that young man. Oh, loose football right past Dart, who will now just throw it away.
It's low all the way as far as the snap is concerned, and not sure the flag here.
There is no foul for illegal low block against the offense. The player was in the tackle box, and the ball was in the tackle box.
Was it the cut block against
the
running back?
Yeah.
It had to be the cut block by the running back.
Third and 11 now. Up top, looking for Mingo. It's incomplete. Boy, Mingo, a couple of catches today. And a touchdown. He came into this game averaging over 22 yards a catch. That was 10th in the NCAA, first in the conference. Levine to punt it away. Tulsa with the football. They're down 15, 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Third quarter, time now for Saturday Sounds, brought to you by Sonos. Noise early in this game when Tulsa had this thing tied up at 14, and then Ole Miss exploded in the second quarter. 28 points in that second quarter. Saw many of these folks last night out and about in the square. Thanks to Kyle Campbell and taking us out to dinner. City Grocery, never a bad spot to have some dinner, break some bread. Hand off left side, Bill Jackson. You know, Deuce, you played here, obviously you spent a lot of time here. And I've been over 25 years coming here quite a bit, but there's still nothing like a game Friday night before game down at the Grove.
Well, I mean, down at the Grove
down
or
the square.
On the square, I mean, it really picks up when SEC weekend Sunday. And so, you know, it's early right now, but it was still a lot of people out.
Here comes some pressure. Gets the pass away, and it's caught. A couple of yards on that pass. Bill Jackson, falling on his backside, made the reception.
Talk about the pressure. Ole Miss is able to almost take him down, but we talked about the size, and that was Austin Keys on the pressure along with Tasheen Johnson. You talked about just the size of Braxton, 6'3", 225.
Three-man rush. Pass is batted away on that far side, trying to hit J.C. Santana with it, but DeAndre Prince was right there, step for step.
Tulsa has not tried Prince a lot as far as going to his side. He's done a pretty good job for this Ole Miss Rebel defense, and there he comes up with the PBU. I want to go back to that previous Ole Miss offensive drive and just give the fans a little bit. Caleb Warren played a couple snaps offensively, but he is on the sideline limping a little bit, and that was probably why they had some of those low snap offensively for Ole Miss.
Another bobbled punt return. It has not been an easy day for Jordan Watkins. Back there returning. That's the second time he's dropped one, and then he scooped one up with a Tulsa defender right in his face as well. So still 35-20 Ole Miss. Rebs have the football. Teachers Week is an annual back-to-school effort led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that brings college sports together to recognize and show appreciation to great teachers across the country. To support Extra Yard for Teachers Recognition and Resources initiatives, follow at CFP Extra Yard or scan the QR code for more. Ole Miss with the football at the 46-yard line. Toss sweep. There goes the freshman Judkins. Stays on his feet. Nifty, shifty, I don't even know how. I mean, he's just got something about him.
Well, he gives you a lot of different things as far as the vision, the speed, his ability to set up blocks. And, you know, Ole Miss does a nice job of just giving you different run patterns as well up front.
Dart to throw, lofts it up and throws it out of bounds. He was trying to get the football to Malik Heath.
Noted to it earlier that Caleb Warren is not in, and I think that snapped is what kind of caused that play to be off time. Eli Acker has moved over to center, and Mason Brooks is in at right guard for Ole Miss, and we saw in the previous drive a couple of low snaps, and that one looked like it threw the timing off for Jackson Dart.
Judkins, this time they track him down at the line of scrimmage. John Michael Terry with tackle number 7. John Michael Terry started his career at Oklahoma. Played 5 years there, now in his second year with this Tulsa program. Here comes some pressure. Dart gets out of the way. And he will, boy, he took out a couple of coaches over there on the far sideline. A flag will come in late, too. Let's hope everybody's all right. Boy, somebody wearing a blue shirt went flying after Dart made contact. My goodness.
And the question is going to be, I think you may have late hit. There's two flags over there on the sideline. Actually, talk about the coaches being close right there to the play, and that's what the officials are going to talk about.
Remember, in the first half, Dart injured that left hand, went to the sideline, got it taped up, put that glove on there. He's been playing with it ever since.
And one flag was he over the line of scrimmage. That may be what they're discussing as well. We saw the late rotation by the safety to go to bring that pressure off of the edge, and Dart sees it. He's able to escape it a little bit, but long discussions by the officials to kind of figure out what exactly they're trying to call or what the call is.
There were 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Illegal touching against the offense. The receiver went out of bounds on his own and was the first to come back inbound and touch the pass. After the play, late hit, personal foul, defense. That play results in a first down.
See the coach get his legs taken out, and we see the official with the hat off of his head, so that meant Malik Heath went out of bounds on his own, and he was first to touch the ball, and you got to reestablish yourself.
Judkins. Interesting, looked like that ball was incomplete.
Well, you thought it was incomplete, but I think Heath was able to get just his hands on it on the low throw.
Second down.
Second and 7.
Boy, Tulsa all over that one. Jordan Watkins makes the catch. Oliver finally cleans up the mess, but a couple of white jerseys over there in a hurry, a loss of 3.
He had a motion. They didn't fool him at all. Ole Miss trying to just run a little pick play with Heath setting that pick, and Watkins just really never able to get going anywhere. Tulsa just being all over that play.
Rebels have put together 364 yards of offense. They came in averaging 496. Pressure comes. Dart gets it away. Oh, what a catch by Judkins. Lost the football, but they'll rule it incomplete. Whistles will stop the play.
Well, first it's the pressure, the A-gap pressure right there. Ole Miss turns the linebacker loose, and you see Judkins just throw up his hand to be able to catch this. And, you know, if I'm Ole Miss, the one thing you worry about are the hits on the quarterback. You know, whether you're running the football or just after the play. And so
the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. The previous play is under review.
So they want to take another look at this.
Two things occurred there. It looked like there was a catch made, and then was the ball jarred free when he hit the ground. It was ruled incomplete. So if it was a fumble before contact forced the ball out of his hands, the whistle blew.
The whistle did blow. Who recovered it?
I think Tulsa got it.
Okay.
But it wasn't a clear and immediate. There was an Ole Miss player in the area, so we need to watch that play throughout.
Well, Judkins sees it. Tulsa does.
Does he tuck it?
Yeah, Tulsa does come up with it.
Okay, that looks like, okay, that is a fumble. That's clear. I think that's a catch and a fumble from my perspective.
Yeah, he's losing the ball, no doubt about it.
Okay, so now it's loose. So even though the whistle blew, if there is clear evidence of Tulsa coming up with the football.
And it was Ray that made the recovery. He made the tackle, so it was going to be Ray that forces it and makes the recovery.
Yeah, that looks to me like a fumble recovery by Tulsa.
It's a catch. You see the football move, and we'll get the official.
After review, the receiver caught the ball, made a move, and fumble. It was recovered by the defense at the 3-yard line. We first down Tulsa from that spot.
Yeah.
He makes a football move and just never got the opportunity to tuck it. You go back to Ray being able to force that fumble and then get up and be able to recover it. He and Judkins both kind of see it and go after it, but Ray is able to recover it in that situation. And so for Ole Miss, you're talking about back-to-back weekends where your running backs, both of them fumble inside really the 5-yard line.
Zach Evans last week a couple times, and Lane Kiffin finally said enough of this.
Yeah.
So Tulsa backed up, but they do have the football, down 15, so still a 2-possession game. 4:11 to go, third quarter. Handoff goes to Stephen Anderson. Anderson today on the ground. 55 yards. I mean, Tulsa's rushed it for 211 today.
Well, they've been able to run the football, and you know some of that is just because Ole Miss has a light box. I mean, they only have really 5 guys in the box, and now we see them just because Tulsa goes tight. Ole Miss put a couple more guys in that box, but I mean they have a light box, and they've played that way the whole game.
Another 3-man rush will drop 8, and Braxton finds a little hole in that secondary. Goes to Isaiah Epps for a gain of 16. Miles battles back there in coverage.
Ole Miss, as far as defense is concerned, you're only rushing 3 guys and dropping 8 into coverage. Normally, you should be able to cover that. I know that they put a lot of stress and pressure on their defensive ends to try to get some pressure, but not doing a great job of doing that so far today.
Pass caught across the 25 out to the 28-yard line. A gain of 7. Catch made by Malachi Jones, who's had kind of a breakout year as a redshirt sophomore.
Young man that didn't get a lot of touches last year as far as playing, and been involved a lot more in this system, particularly with Brin at the quarterback.
Here comes some pressure. Otis Reese on a blitz, and he'll make a stop. Or, excuse me, Dysheem Johnson came in from that nickel spot.
And that's what you're used to if you're Ole Miss. You're able to get some free guys in the backfield. You don't have, you know, almost double digits tackle for losses just by luck. That's because of the design of your system. And, you know, I think Tulsa's just been able to hit them for a couple of big runs that have gotten them off schedule. And then the success that they've had on first down has probably taken away what Ole Miss wanted to do defensively a little bit.
Tulsa started 3 of 3 on third down since they are 0 for 5. Braxton keeps it himself, cuts it back up, has the first down, still on his feet. Lowers his shoulder out over the 45-yard line. DeAndre Prince finally brings him down, but a big gain by Braxton will give Tulsa a first down.
See Ole Miss kind of just getting fooled a little bit by the ball handling, and then you have a couple missed tackles in that second level, and Prince is able to get the quarterback down finally, but that's after he's picked up another first down.
Braxton will throw over the middle. Oh, big hit at the 38-yard line. Flags come in, loose football. Ole Miss has it. Stokes was walloped, and he is in some serious trouble. He tried to get up and completely lost his balance.
And he's saying he's okay, but he took a big-time hit, and the flag, I don't know if they're going to call it helmet to helmet on that play, but I mean the training staff and coaches immediately run out there. Should have been offensive lineman down the field as well. Oh, it was helmet to helmet.
The ruling on the field is a catch on a fumble recovered by the defense. It's also a personal foul targeting number 25 of the defense. That play is under review.
Yeah, they call it on 25, but that's going to be on Otis Reese though. Stokes is able to get up and walk off the field, but he took a big-time shot there. And then it all goes back as well. You look at the beginning of his play, it's Cedric Johnson.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, it's you hate to see it. I mean, that's just a big shot, and let's hope he's all right. I mean, Keelan Stokes has had some kind of career. He needs just 337 yards for the Tulsa receiving record. He already has almost 500 yards receiving this season through 3 games.
Thank you.
3 straight 100-yard games. Of course, last year was banged up. Only had 11 catches.
After review, the pass is incomplete. There is personal foul targeting number 3 against the defense. Number 3 is disqualified.
So out for the first half next week against Kentucky.
So the pass is incomplete, but you get the 15 yards, and then Otis Reese is out next week against Kentucky the first half. And you know, I think also when you go back and look at it, Cedric Johnson had a shot initially at Braxton, the quarterback, before he got on the edge. We know, of course, what happened after that play, and Stokes is still in the tent over on the sideline for Tulsa.
Obviously, their starting quarterback, Davis Brin, with an injured ankle, taped up. Fifth-year senior. Didn't get through the second quarter before he was replaced by Braylon Braxton. Batted in the air and caught. Isaiah Epps, did he hold on long enough? They're going to say yes, catch made at the 31-yard line. Give it to Santana.
This ball was hit by 3 people. Well, no, it was just Santana. Trey Washington did get his hand on it, and Santana was just able to catch it off the ricochet.
And there's the big back, taking some bodies with him. Steven Anderson inside the 20-yard line, an 11-yard run. He doesn't look like he's 260. I mean, he is cut up.
He moves very, very well for a guy that's 260, 6'2", 260. He moves very well.
First down and 10. They'll go back with Anderson. Cedric Johnson hanging on, but a 3-yard gain for Anderson. See if this isn't the final play of the third quarter. I mean, hey, you stick this thing in the end zone here now, this becomes really interesting in the fourth quarter.
You put a little more pressure on Ole Miss as far as offensively and defensively. Ole Miss, their center banged up a little bit, and so they haven't been as crisp to start that third quarter, or at least in that third quarter. And
timeout.
Well, the fourth quarter might be quite interesting. 35-20. Ole Miss with the 15-point lead, but here comes Tulsa. Well, folks, Tulsa not going anywhere. Their first trip ever to Oxford, Mississippi, and they're down 15, but driving the football. They're inside the red zone at the 17, second down, coming up for the Hurricane. Using their backup quarterback, Braylon Braxton. They'll put J.C. Santana in motion. Look that way over the middle. Pass was there, and he dropped it. Santana had it. It was a little bit behind him, but you got to think he should have come up with this catch.
well, you see the motion and really puts a lot of stress on that cornerback, and that's one that he's got to come up with. You see the safety coming over the top, and he's going to make the hit to dislodge it, but that's one that Santana's going to wish that he had back. Finley does a nice job of creating the separation with the hit.
Tulsa's up to 409 yards of offense against what was a stingy Ole Miss defense until today. Third down. Here comes some pressure. 5 men trying to trace down Braxton. He's running, throws over the middle, and that one will be incomplete. All right, so now it's fourth down. You roll the dice on 4th and 7. Looks like he's going to do it.
Yeah, so far it looks like he's going to do a nice job. Austin Keys with the pressure. Freshman Harris, Xavier Harris, in also at that nose guard. The guy that came up with the pressure eventually to force the quarterback to throw it away with Tavius Robinson.
Even if you kick the field goal, it's still a 2-possession game. But look, there's 14:46 on the clock. You're going to have 3 more possessions today. But they're going to go for it on 4th and 7. 4-man rush this time. Braxton steps up in the pocket, throws over the middle, has a man, caught, touchdown. That one goes to Isaiah Epps, his second today, 17 yards out.
And in the secondary, they just lose them. I mean, but up front, you've got to be able to come up and make that sack. I mean, you've got to be able to make that sack. Ivy has a chance to come up with the sack, but Braxton just does a nice job of navigating, and he keeps his eyes down the field. You're asking that secondary to cover for a very, very long time, and you know, up front, Ole Miss has got to be able to get that quarterback down if they're going to be successful 4th down wise, and Braxton makes them pay.
Zach Long to attempt the point after. Boy, he hits a bullet right through the upright. Somebody might have got a piece of that one, but it goes through. Got ourselves an 8-point ball game, 35-27 here in Oxford.
About 10 minutes or less from getting going in Arlington. Jerry World, the site. Max Johnson at Texas A&M with the first second straight win as they take on the Razorbacks. And over on ESPN2, top of the hour, Will Levis and the Wildcats facing Northern Illinois. 2 more SEC games coming up on ESPN and ESPN2.
All right, Dari, thank you very much. Thanks. Very interesting here in Oxford now. There is a lot of football left to be played, and it's a 1-possession game. Ole Miss was blanked in the 3rd quarter after putting up 28 in the 2nd quarter. They had a touchdown on their opening drive of the game, then shut out the rest of the 1st quarter, then 28 in the 2nd quarter. Yeah, that man right there has done the work replacing Davis Brin, who led the country in touchdown passes and yards per game coming into this game, and the redshirt freshman has really looked sharp. He has not been rattled by this stage whatsoever.
Has not been rattled, has done a good job of keeping his eyes down the field, has made people miss, been tough to bring down when Ole Miss did have a hand on him. He's done a really good job.
Here's Dart, who has a career high in rushing. He's closing in on 100 yards. He's got 93-ish, 92 yards, I think, after that carry. Actually, they'll spot him. Yeah, 8 for 91 to this point. Well, he gets a couple of more out of that one. Averaging 11 yards per carry is Jackson Dart today. Third down and 5 coming up. Quick hitter, pass is caught there. Nice job by Malik Heath to get his hands under the football. That's out to the 45-yard line.
Dave, it's a completion to Malik, but I mean, your quarterback takes another big hit. He sits in the pocket and is able to get the ball off, but he takes another big shot, pressured by Justin Wright.
Dart has been hit a bunch today.
And right there, that's quarterback counter. They've run it 3 or 4 times here in this 4th quarter. You have a Tulsa player that's down right now.
Jackson Dart could probably use the break as well. His career high rushing. Now, again, it's a small sample size for Jackson Dart. Played 6 games last year at Southern Cal before injuries forced him to kind of shut it down, but started just 3. This is his 3rd start. We talked to Lane Kiffin yesterday about the quarterback situation, and like, you know, how do you describe it? And I mean, is Dart your guy? What would you say if you were in our shoes talking about the quarterback situation? He paused and paused, and he says, you know what? I would just say this, that we are trending with Jackson Dart as our quarterback moving forward. They're still getting equal reps at practice, but obviously things seem to be going well with Jackson in control.
Well, and I think the biggest thing for him is adjusting to this system. Look, he comes from a system that's basically almost air raid in a sense. So for him just to be able to take dropbacks, for him to be able to do some of the things that he is doing in this offense was kind of foreign to him. And so you talk about coming into the spring and really trying to grasp everything as far as that system is concerned. And the more that he's participated and played, he's gotten a lot more comfortable in that system. And, you know, one of the reasons also you talk about Luke Altmaier, he's been banged up himself. And so I don't know if it would have been fair to throw an injured quarterback into that situation as well.
So right up to the sidelines. Looks like he'll be okay. So second down. And let's call it 8. Little toss sweep near side. Oh, some big blocks on the edge. Great job by the tight end over there, Casey Kelly. Got 2 Hurricane players, L.J. Wallace, who's still down.
Casey Kelly's probably lucky to talk about a blindside hit, and that's what a couple of the Tulsa players are looking at. Good job, good block. You don't see any flags.
Good to see LJ get up.
Seen Ole Miss use this toss crack a couple times with those tailbacks, and Kelly definitely seals the end right there on that play. And Tulsa's come after Ole Miss. They have consistently come after them, and whether it's in the A gap or off of the edge. And if I'm Ole Miss, I'm just using my quick game.
Inside handoff on a 3rd down and 3. Anthony Goodlow, the first time we've called his name today, one of their best defensive players, and team captain, makes a big play there. So now it's 4th down and about 3 yards. Rebels in a hurry. Oh, so much movement and no snap. You could pick any number of blue jerseys that started before the ball, if it was even moved.
False start. Offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
They give it to Jeremy James, but I mean, Eli Acker, he's the new center in, and you know the ball has just never snapped at all. We talked earlier about Caleb Warren getting hurt, playing a couple times on the, I guess that was the first series for Ole Miss in the 3rd quarter, but he has not been back in until Ole Miss is going to be forced to punt.
Fraser Mazine to kick it away. He stands at the 30. Keelan Stokes. Fair catch called for, will make the catch. Our stellar SEC football lineup rolls on tonight. Coming up after we are finished here, we have a couple of options. LSU hosting New Mexico on SEC Network Plus, and then right here on this very network, Crimson Tide and the Commodores coming your way. Crew of Tom, Jordan, and Cole in Tuscaloosa. Catch both those games on the ESPN app as well. Here's the handoff to Anderson. Isheem Young with his tackle. Ole Miss's defense has been tested today by that man's offense, Philip Montgomery. They came in averaging 43 yards a game, putting up 520 yards. Today they have 430 yards and, of course, 27 points on the board.
Tennyson comes up with the tackle for a loss right there in the backfield, and you haven't seen a ton of that from Ole Miss, but that time he's able to knife around the offensive lineman and come up with a tackle for loss. Tulsa kind of taking their time and feeling pretty good, or at least in the position they were in before this 3rd and long situation.
And Tennyson now with 9 stops for the Rebels. We love number 10 right here inside the 30-yard line. 4-man rush, quick hitter. That one is knocked away. Trey Washington got his hand in there to knock it to the turf. It's 4th and 6. You got to kick this one away. Yeah, definitely got to kick it away. And that time, Trey Washington, he does just a nice job of reading and understanding the route there by the receiver. He comes up. We'll take a look at it here. He comes up and just does a nice job being in that slot, seeing the receiver just really sit on it, and he does a good job of driving on that football, getting his right hand in there and knocking it away. Line drive kick. Makes a favorable Tulsa roll down to the 35-yard line. So the Golden Hurricane defense going to need to step up big again. 10:27. They've thrown a shutout here in the second half. Well, let's take a look at Saturday MVP, brought to you by Sports Clip. For that, Jackson Dart had a career day rushing the football. Kind of cooled off throwing it, but in the first half, well, he was doing everything right for the Rebels.
Definitely not done a nice job just being able to distribute the football through the air, but I think the biggest difference for him has been his ability to be able to run the football. Some of those design runs, some of those just being able to read the defensive end on your RPO looks, and he has been special for Ole Miss today.
Yeah, career high running the football. 10 carries, 96 yards. Still trailing Judkins, though, in that department, who has a team best 119 on 18 carries. But the Rebels need to pick up some first downs, eat up some clock. It's an 8-point game here in the 4th quarter. Malik Heath with another reception, and for Malik, that's number 4 of the afternoon.
Nice job of seeing the corner cat. You have a safety actually coming off of the edge, and they converted into a hitch route, and Malik is strong enough to be able to pick that first down.
There's Judkins. Well, I've just been, watching the game last week on tape and watching him run, certainly very impressive, but seeing him in person, I mean, he's running over guys. He's making it hard to tackle.
Does a nice job of setting up those runs as well.
They'll get it to the 45-yard line. Ostrowski with the tackle, gain of 4. His high school team won the 5A state title in Alabama last year. They went 14-0, was a championship game MVP. And he has stood up there right at the line of scrimmage, might have even lost a few feet. Anthony Goodlow and Bryson Powers in there to make the tackle. Now it's 4th down.
What's interesting is this defense, for Tulsa is similar to what Ole Miss runs itself, and so you see all of the safety and the 2nd and 3rd level guys get involved, and too many times they've been able to get to that first level and cause Ole Miss, problems where they're not able to pick all of them up.
Just lofts it up for the tight end, Casey Kelly, and he dives. But there's another flag. I wonder if we're going to have another shot block by the offense on a defensive player today.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to get this time.
Bryson Powers gets up limping. And he was right where that flag was
thrown. During the
thrown.
play, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Number 1, offense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 4th down.
We'll take another look at it, and they called it a blindside block by Mingo, and it's just really a pick play that you wanted to run. And
yeah, get your arms out.
For Mingo, I don't think that you want to throw it in that manner, but that's a tough look. So whether it was the chop block or blindside block. It's not very favorable for Ole Miss after picking up that first down.
And now they got to punt it away to Tulsa.
Well, last time they went for it on fourth down, it was a infraction as far as the snap was concerned, and now this time it's because of blindside block.
This kick is a spiral that will hop and keep hopping and hop out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Stokes just let that one roll out of bounds, a 52-yard punt. So a long way to go for the Hurricane. 8:20 on the clock, and they're down 8.
Studio keeping an eye on a couple of games getting ready to get going over on ESPNU. Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks home to take on Charlotte. And coming up next right here when we are finished in Oxford, Will Anderson and that Alabama defense going to try to slow down a more effective Vanderbilt offense. It's the Tide's conference opener. It is for both, guys.
All right, Dari, thank you very much. We got a lot of football left here, though. Tulsa down 8. Just inside the 10-yard line. They'll hand it off to Bill Jackson. He's out over the 15 to the 16-yard line. Nice gain on first down for Tulsa. There is, again, you're looking at Braylon Braxton, who's a redshirt freshman quarterback who has taken over for one of the best quarterbacks in the country statistically coming into this game, who's out with an ankle injury. But Braxton has not flinched today. Numbers aren't great, but he's done some really, really nice things today.
He has kept them in his game. I mean, when Ole Miss wanted to put it away, he has done enough to keep them involved and, within a score from having a tie game if you have a 2-point conversion.
Boy, in the run game, it's just been tough for Ole Miss to stop today.
Dave, that's probably been the most surprising thing, their ability and success that they've had. Now, trust me, there's been a ton of missed tackles by Ole Miss, but not winning the line of scrimmage, that's probably been the most surprising thing in this game so far.
Tulsa has rushed for over 260 yards today. Little play action. Near side pass is caught there by J.C. Santana, and he'll have a first down over the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 14. We approach 7 minutes to go in this one.
One of the things they respect is his speed, and so that's why you see the cornerback Prince just kind of playing off coverage, respecting the speed, and he just runs that little stop route after about 10 yards and picks up another first down for Tulsa.
Handoff left side, Bill Jackson that time stuff. Ole Miss had 7 guys up in the box that time. Getting a little closer to the line of scrimmage.
Tennyson, he's been a guy that hadn't missed a lot of tackles. He's probably has about at least 11 so far in this game. He's been around that line of scrimmage and coming from that safety position. And we can talk about overall that defense missed some tackles, but he's been an individual that hadn't missed a ton.
2nd down and 10. Bringing some heat. Braxton dodges one man, gets it away, throws it high into that Tulsa bench area. It is incomplete, and there are no flags.
You have a receiver in the area who's out of the tackle box, but the only times that Ole Miss has been able to really flush to them with only rushing 4 guys.
Boy, 3rd down and 10. Braxton being tested now. Ole Miss will put 4 players with a hand in the dirt. Braxton, little sidearm toss coming near side, and that one is incomplete. He was trying to hit J.C. Santana, and now it's 4th and 10. And again, going to ask your defense to step up one more time as they're going to punt it away.
Ole Miss is probably really, really fortunate here. Troy Brown has that underneath coverage, but you lost contain. You lost containment that time for Braxton, and he felt like that he wanted to get that football off to get it downfield, but very fortunate in that situation.
Lachlan Wilson. Jonathan Mingo is back to return the punts now after a couple of miscues by Jordan Watkins. Line drive kick. Mingo has to let it roll, and it keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. What a punt down to the 2.5-yard line. So the Rebels are backed up. That'll go down as a 62-yarder for Wilson. We've got 5.5 left to play here at Oxford in a 1-possession game. Old freshman Quinshon Judkins with another 100-yard game, his second of his young Ole Miss career, and it's been so impressive today. He has done it every way imaginable. A little power, a little speed, a little quickness, everything you're looking for.
Definitely everything that you're looking for. If you're going to have one negative, it's the fumble on the catch. I mean, but his vision, his patience, the power that you talked about, the speed, freshman has it all.
Quick throw, and Mingo with a heck of a catch going up high. Right on top of Darren Ray, and holds on for the first down grab of 15 yards.
Nice job of recognition of that corner crash right there by your quarterback and Mingo also.
Dart will keep it himself, working left side, and he'll fall out to the 25-yard line. Ole Miss offense, 5:09, trying to move the football. Maryland, what do you got?
O-line coach Jake Thornton told his group when they sat down at the beginning of Tulsa's last drive, you're sitting down for the last time here. We got 8.5 minutes left. Whenever we get the ball back, we're going to run the ball to bring this game home. I need everything from you guys in this last one.
Let's see if they can hold up. They have done a nice job today, allowing Jackson Dart to have a career-high rushing. Matter of fact, Dart's up over 100. Judkins up over 100. There's Mingo. Looks like he'll take a breath, maybe get back in there if he can today. But Judkins with 2 100-yard games. How about Deuce? You had an Ole Miss record 14 100-yard games in your career. You've got a long way to go.
That's going to get broke.
You think by Judkins?
Yes.
Knocked away. Looking for heat. Batted out of there by Tyon Davis.
Gonna get press man. Same thing that we saw early in the game is just let my big receiver go up and make a play for me. And that time, Tyon Davis is able to knock the football away before Heath is able to high point it.
3rd and 3. Gonna throw it here. Quick hitter. Pass is dropped. Incomplete, and now it's 4th down. Malik Heath hit right as the ball hit his hands. Davis chatting with him. A big series for number 0 in White.
Just running a slant, and actually the corner has inside leverage. You know, and Heath, I don't know if he saw that linebacker being able to come over the top. The football is right there a little bit behind, and that's really to protect him from that big hit. That's one that he's got to come up with.
So the Rebels have just really sputtered on offense here in the second half. They are still pointless in the 3rd and 4th quarters. They'll punt it away again. Here is Stokes back to return this one. He's hit immediately at the 30-yard line and dropped right there. His helmet comes off. So 4:24 to play in this one in an 8-point game. Tonight, SEC football final is back. Dari, Chris, Benjamin, Takio, they'll take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the games, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. Arkansas already up a touchdown on Texas A&M. Georgia, not a great day at home against Kent State, but they still get the win. Some craziness down on the Plains. Auburn scored 2 quick touchdowns, led 14-0, and took a 3-point win in the overtime to hold on.
Yeah, I mean, and Missouri is going in to score.
Yeah.
I mean, the football literally comes out of the running back's hand before he, I don't know if he was reaching out for the end zone or what, but fumble, and that was in overtime.
1st down and 10. We'll go handoff to Anderson. This time, that hole closes up in a hurry, and not much on the play, if anything.
And Dave. I think when you look at it, I think it's been missed tackles, but also the success that Tulsa has had on first down. That time, obviously, Ole Miss stops them for no yardage or limited at best, but they had so much success on first down, and it just made it difficult for Ole Miss to be able to get off the field enough.
Braxton will throw it away as he is hit around the 12-yard line by Cedric Johnson. So now it's 3rd down and 10. Tulsa has all 3 timeouts left. 3:41 on the clock. If you don't convert here, Deuce, you still punt it away. And
no, I think the call here, pick up 5. There's nobody open completely. You got to go for it here at this point. I mean, I don't think that you can ask your defense to try to hold
again.
That Ole Miss offense again. I think at best, hey, look, let's pick up 5 and put ourselves in a manageable situation.
Empty set, 4-man rush. Over the middle, passes incomplete. Batted in the air a couple of times. Jones just couldn't come up with it, and now it's 4th down and 10. And he was going to be 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down.
They're gonna go to punt it, and Ole Miss sideline and coaches, they're upset at Trey Washington because instead of him locating and finding the tip pass, he's talking noise to the receiver. You've already made the breakup as far as knocking the ball out. Now let me see the ball because it was tipped up in the air. And the coaching staff, they're over there, and the sideline is telling them, look up. But he can't locate the football, and I think Tulsa's short a guy. They're gonna have to either take a penalty or use a timeout here, because it's going to be a delay of game call.
Delay of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
There's some heated discussions going on over there on that Tulsa sideline. Boy, a special teams blunder, but they didn't burn the timeout.
Hey, we're going to take another look here. Trey Washington is in good position. The ball is tipped up. And it's right there by him. It hit him on the foot. He never recognizes because he's talking noise about the receiver about, me having the pass break up, but the ball hits him in the foot.
Fair catch called for. That time Watkins back there to return the punt, makes the catch and holds on at the 35-yard line. Okay, 3:23. You got 3 timeouts left. Boy, it's that cat and mouse game. They're going to load up the box, but do you
they brought pressure. Ole Miss, if I get the one-on-one, we saw Mingo leave earlier, and the Ole Miss went to Heath on the one-on-one throws. Mingo's back in this game. If you see pressure, I'm going to trust my quarterback. I'm going to trust my quarterback to make a play down the field. I'm not throwing a slant. I am throwing down the field.
They'll hand it off. Another missed tackle. Judkins has done a marvelous job this year of making people miss. Matter of fact, he's averaging 4.5 yards after contact, which is the 10th best number in the country.
And it was Justin Wright that had a shot at him, and he bounces right off of Judkins, and see him squeeze that football as he's going down. Ole Miss, they're pleased with just, hey, look, we'll run the play clock down if Tulsa's not going to use one of their timeouts.
On 2nd and short, they do hand it off to Judkins.
This is where you got to use a timeout.
Yeah, it's going to be 3rd and 1.
Got 3 timeouts. Running down again. I mean, you're talking about right at 2 minutes.
Well, it's one of those crazy things, right? If you burn the timeout here and they get the first down, you might not get the football back.
That's true.
If they do get the first down, you save those 3 timeouts, you can at least force them to punt it in that situation if your defense holds.
But with how much time on the clock? Not a lot.
Judkins. Can he sneak his way across the 45-yard line?
Yes, he did.
That's crazy. That's a first down for Ole Miss. How in the world did he find any room
Dave, we'll take another look at it, but I have no idea. They're running split zone, and I mean, he's hit 1 yard, maybe 2 yards short in the backfield, and it was Everett Rogers, the defensive lineman, that hit him first, and he just squeezes through.
So the clock now down to 1:24. Jackson Dart will keep it coming near side. Tulsa stretches it out. He slides, so that'll force Tulsa to use a timeout here.
And that's exactly what they do, and Dart did the smart thing. We've seen him be able to look for contact a lot of times on that sideline, but he slid down. We'll take another look at it. They fake that toss that they've run, and this QB counter slides down inbounds, forces Tulsa to kind of use that timeout.
Jackson Dart, 12 carries, 105 yards, averaging 8.8 yards a carry today. And Ole Miss has rushed for 293 yards. Rebels came in averaging 271 yards on the ground. That is first in the league and fifth in the country, and that'll tick up a few after today's performance. Look, I know they led the SEC in rushing last year, and they were good at it, but they also threw for 275 yards a game. I don't know that this team is built to throw for 275 a game.
I don't know if I mean, they've got to hit on explosive plays. I mean, the mantra for, Coach Kiffin has always been score from afar.
Yeah.
They're running from afar at this point.
Judkins picks up 9. It'll be 3rd down and 1. A quick timeout again by Philip Montgomery. It may be too little, too late.
And Dave, he is yards. I mean, maybe inches away. Not a lot of yards from breaking that run.
30-second timeout. Game clock operator, please put 1:09 back on the game clock. 1:09.
Minute 9 on the game clock. Let me ask you about next week, because there's a lot of attention focused on that one between two teams. We know Georgia, we know Alabama. We're trying to figure out who's that third team. Is it Tennessee? Is it Kentucky? Is it Ole Miss? There's a lot of discussion about where that goes. How big a deal is next week's game for Ole Miss and really Kentucky?
Well, for both teams, I mean, you're talking about at least Kentucky will, more than likely, if they take care of their business tonight, they will be a top 10 team. Ole Miss will probably be right there on the outside of it in at least one poll. I don't think you'll have a top 10 matchup, but you're going to find out a lot about both of these teams. Kentucky gets their,
Chris Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, they're all SEC back. And for Ole Miss, I think this coaching staff, they have something to lean their hat on. Hey, look, we missed a ton of tackles. What do you think Kentucky is going to do to us next week if we miss that amount of tackles? And so from a coaching standpoint, you're happy to get the victory, but you know that you have some things that you can teach as well.
3rd down and a yard. Dart will keep it. Dart has the first down and a whole lot more, and he slides down at the 35-yard line, and that'll do it. Tulsa will take their final timeout with 1 minute to play, and Ole Miss will get out of here.
3rd and final timeout of the half, Tulsa.
With the win and go to 4-0.
Please put 1:02 back on the game clock. 1:02.
And this week will be quite interesting around Oxford as this team gets ready for the Wildcats.
Well, the buzz will be unbelievable. I mean, I think, with it being homecoming as well, the only fuss that you're hearing, they're upset about the time, the kickoff time, with it being an 11 o'clock game. But I think that we talked about the Grove and the Square all being buzzing all week, or at least last night. I think that'll be the case for sure come next Saturday.
I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to go home a real happy man. I'm sure he'll enjoy the victory for a minute to go to 4-0. Every coaches say it all the time, and players, every victory is precious. But I mean, they've been held scoreless here in the second half.
Yeah, he talked about, defensively, maybe them not giving up. They gave up that field goal right there before the half. But offensively, that's where your problem has been. And I know some of that it's been because Caleb Warren, your center, losing him. But all of that, I'm not going to blame, just on the offensive line.
John Judkins to the 35.
Hey, give Tulsa some credit. They're going to be a handful for the guys in the AAC this year. We hope Davis Brin, their quarterback, is going to be okay. Obviously didn't get out of the second quarter with what appears to be an ankle injury, and that certainly changes the whole dynamic for Philip Montgomery's offense. But if they can get this, get him healthy, it'd be tough out.
You get Braxton playing kind of like he did. I was really impressed of the composure that he had and some of the things that he was able to do for that Tulsa offense once Brin went down.
We'll give it to Judkins on second down. That clock will wind down to 0 after that run play. So the Rebels, maybe not exactly how he envisioned it last night, but they do put 35 on the board, and they win it by 8 over a feisty Tulsa Golden Hurricane team. So Ole Miss goes to 4-0, Tulsa 2-2. Producer McAllister, Marilyn Payne, the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Oxford, Mississippi, where the Rebels win it. Let's get you to the studio and Dari Noka.
All right, Dave Deuce, thank you all very